Hi, I'm Joe, and I'd like to take you on a tour of a special Subterranean Eco Mall. It's been many years, probably about a decade in fact, since I last designed a shopping mall for real. I used to work for a company that did malls exclusively. This is the first time I've actually designed a mall purely for fun. This is an ecologically inspired mall which is completely subterranean, and the roof is completely green with parks and venues and activities for all of your Sims to enjoy during the daylight. The numerous skylights bring in natural light into the subterranean areas, making the mall seem as if it wasn't even below ground at all. Above ground, there's plenty to do. I've included a fake chess set. Can't really play it, but it does look good. There's an area for children to play and for adults to sit by and just simply watch the world go past. And below ground, the adults can shop. Let's take a tour downstairs. Going down below, we get to see what the fuss is about. I kept the interior fairly monochromatic and in light colours to keep it fairly airy and without knowing that you're actually below ground. The tiling layout is inspired from one of my many tiling layouts that I did in real life. It's fairly simple, but quite honestly, malls generally are quite simple. They're never very, very fussy. The retail areas are the showpieces. The fountain in the centre adds a nice organic feel. This is the electronics or computer store, and it pretty much sells most objects that you can get in the game. It's kept fairly simple because the Sims can't navigate around complicated objects and structures, so most of the floor space has to be kept free for them to walk around and not create traffic jams. This is the clothing store, which sells obviously clothing and all sorts of products that's inspired by cosmetic stores and so forth. Again, a very large, fairly open space, because otherwise the decorations become rather repetitive. So sort of that modernistic, less is more approach. Next, I created a bakery, and unfortunately the bakery doesn't work 100% as a bakery, although it does function. You can actually go in, use the kitchen, bake up a storm, and then sell it in the cabinets. But it doesn't function as a proper bakery as intended by the game. And occasionally it's actually quite empty. If you actually use the lot not owned by one of your Sims, most of the tills and everything become manned by the game itself, and they function perfectly well. In fact, this mall is actually probably too expensive for your average Sim to purchase. The best is actually to buy it and just place it in your game and actually visit. This is the antique store, which pretty much just has bric-a-brac and everything from really expensive items to inexpensive items that your Sims might want to purchase. I decided to sort of have a really archaeological, old-fashioned sort of feel to this shop in contrast to the rest, which is fairly modern. These blue uniforms are created on the property, so when you actually own the property, those are the uniforms you'll see. The clothing store also has a window shopping area, and annoyingly the clients actually go inside and actually try on clothing, but I suppose it's part of the game. They get very excited when they try on new clothing too. This is the main skylight, and it provides most of the light into the middle of the mall. I do like the way the chess set turned out, even though obviously it's quite fake and it's created from the few bits and pieces that are in the game. The green grass is from the Hobbit theme, so if you want to get the clipped grass effect, you'll need to get those files from my Patreon page. I also created some chess areas because Sims always seem to enjoy those. It's very symmetrical and almost rigidly so I tried to create the garden to be a little bit more organic, even though it's also relatively symmetrical. I do love this boat on the river. It adds quite a nice touch to the scene. And there comes the trolley. What's funny is that you can actually angle your camera to go into the surrounding houses and actually take a view at the mall from the balcony. The flowers give the mall a certain air of elegance and nature, which otherwise would be missing in most commercial properties. This is another view from below. You can actually see the kitchen for the bakery on the left hand side. The change rooms on the right hand side are for the clothing store. The floor patterns are also typical kind of layouts that you get in malls. It's fairly repetitive. It's almost always the same sort of layout that they use for almost every mall, depending on budget, of course. I quite enjoyed making the bakery, and I'm thinking I'm actually probably going to create a few more just for kicks, but actually make it a proper functioning one. Behind the old antique store, I actually created a storeroom just for fun and for aesthetics. But also there's also a room behind there that you could actually sleep in, if you were the owner, of course. The doors are all locked for guests and for all the clients. Every single object that can be sold has been marked for sold, so if you do download this lot for your game, it's all ready to sell. This is the overview of the electronics store. And there's a little area outside for the bakery and inside. I didn't want to place too many tables inside the bakery because it can get quite busy in there with people going in to eat, and then they will sort of create a traffic jam. The kitchen's also quite large, so there should be no problem in cooking up a storm there. There are 2 stoves, so you could get 2 people on the go there. This is back to the top, and a bit of a time lapse taking you into sunset. Sunsets are usually quite dramatic in The Sims. I do hope you enjoyed this tour of the Eco Subterranean Mall, and don't forget to watch the build video next if you are keen to learn more about how this mall is created. You can also download the lot or property at the Patreon page linked below. Here's some more screenshots of the actual mall. Thank you so much for watching, and do remember to subscribe for more videos like this.